The mind. What is its role? Why is it that barrier to awakening? I'm Jason for AwakenedEssence.com. I'm about to discuss by the fireside this morning, as the sun was coming up, the role of the mind, how it's a trap, and what to do to get out of it. Awakening is measurable, it can be fast. Few teachers say that, I do. This website details why and how. The mind is one of those things that is one of the greatest barriers to you awakening. It's actually not such an issue when you follow practical steps and you measure and you apply. And there are techniques you can do to help yourself apply this stuff. It comes down to your motivation, or as Nissagadatta would say, your earnestness. Awakening is fast. It is measurable. Please listen on. Make contact if what I say resonates and you want to get on this path and come home. So I'm Jason for AwakenedEssence.com. One of the greatest traps to presence and to learning to awaken and live in that enlightened place of being the presence that you are, regardless of what's going on in life, good stuff or bad stuff, the presence can be with you. The greatest thing that stops it is the mind, is this concept of ego. So let's address this in terms of you getting a measure if it's a problem for you or not, and how to work with it. So I'm Jason for AwakenedEssence.com. Decided we will watch the fire and the sunrise and the fishermen in the boat out there rather than look at me while we discuss this. So notice the picture, notice your hands and your tummy breathing. So we will practice as I discuss this, because this is what it's about. It's about you applying the practice of being present. That's the only thing that counts. It's the only measuring stick there is. Nothing to do with ego, nothing to do with pain body, nothing to do with stuff, spiritual things, angels, crystals, all that stuff. That's all just stuff. What counts is, are you here? Are you present? Are you aware of the space and the presence that you are, anchored through the body? So this is where issues of ego and mind really trip up the person who's wanting to be truly happy and at peace and awakened, enlightened. The mind never awakens. The ego never awakens. But you will always have an ego. You will always have a mind. And as you go into the deeper layers or through the layers of awakening, your relationship to these things change. Now, given that I'm on a lake and it's beautiful and still, let's let the boats here represent the mind. The boats have a function. They help take people to a different spot so they can go fishing. This is what your mind is for. But some people use it as a weapon, and some people get very, very lost in it. So your mind will say all sorts of stuff. It might be saying stuff about this video, for instance. And that's fine. Are you aware of the space that you are? So come back to your hands. Feeling your hands, feeling your tummy breathing. Noticing your backside. Contract your pelvic floor muscles so it brings you down to the base of your being, the base of your body. It's a great place to be aware of as we hear the boat getting louder and louder. So the stillness allows this boat to come across the lake. It's very allowing. Your being allows your mind to overrun everything, just like that boat's doing right now as it whizzes through. And the mind, being like everybody else that's egoic and in the mind, thinks it can do what it wants. There's a speed limit of 10 k's an hour on this lake. That was certainly faster. All the boats go faster than the speed limit in this lake. So that causes disruption. You wait till the waves come in. So the mind, literally, I don't know if you heard the fish jump then, The mind literally does what it does, and the stillness that you are allows it. It allows it to be. Now, you are something deeper. You are the chooser. So do you choose to let your mind run you, or do you choose to be aware of the stillness which allows all these other things? That's the dichotomy, isn't it? So again, hands, tummy, pelvic floor, noticing the space inside your body, and if that expands outwards or inwards. If you can tune your awareness into the deeper layers within that space. So your hands, your backside and your tummy makes a three-dimensional space that has to be a space in order to contain those 3 or 4 physical dimensions in the third time space continuum. So there is space there. That is you. And there we go. Listen to the laugh if it's coming through. You are that space. Notice in that space, if you say something inside your head, notice where that location is. So it's about the practice of noticing that and being aware of your body. The body is the sensing mechanism. It gives you greater access to stillness, to presence, to the sensing of your environment, of what actions are best for you and the people around you. So if you anchor your presence through your body and not just have your head being I'm going to use an insulting term here, a smart ass, then you will activate your presence faster, it will stabilize, and you will properly awaken. A lot of people in some of the spiritual communities, especially those on Facebook, if you go to some of the Tolly groups, you'll have people saying, oh, who's the person that's asking the question? Who's claiming this and who's claiming that? It's a clear indication of someone who's stuck in their head. Because if they understood this principle of you are the presence and it allows everything to be, someone has to decide, someone has to act, someone has to be here. Question is, who is that? It is the stillness. And you do that by doing the physical, mental and emotional and energetic practice of coming into this moment. From there you can be aware of your mind, listening to the white-bellied sea eagle. Feeling, noticing the space and the stillness. So as I've been talking, what has your head been saying? Have you been activating the practice? Hands, tummy, inner space, inner body, as Tolly would call it, and then something that's more subtle. It allows everything to be as it is. No need to change anything. Emotions are running, great. Allow the space to contain those emotions. That is who you are. If you're not activating your presence through your body, allow yourself to practice this and see if what I'm saying is true. The mind is such a tricky bugger. It can create presence, bliss and stillness and all that other stuff in the mental bodies. There are 2 main mental bodies. The mental body, the lower mental body, which is the personality, the ego type mental body, and the higher self mental body, known as the higher mind, third eye, crown. And the higher mental bodies are better at creating this sort of stuff. So how do you check in and learn the difference? By being anchored in the lower parts of your body. If you really want to get clear on what level you're at and want guidance with that, make contact for mentoring, because it's quite a tricky process. It really is tricky. Busting your mind, for most people, is the hardest thing you'll ever do. It really is. I got lost in there and I had some guidance around it, which really helped. And when you realise the difference and make the distinction between the two, thanks fish, it really is a huge turning point that will accelerate you into the deeper layers of non-abiding awakening. So I hope that brought some clarity. Send me a question through the email or the feedback form, or make contact if you want mentoring, because this is totally doable to a fairly stable degree of awakening in 2 to 4 years if you apply these simple laws and these simple practices, which are definable and measurable when you know what it is you're looking for and you do actually apply yourself to it. So we'll see you in the next video.